Hey everyone, it's Shelby here. Welcome back to A Little Literary Love. I'm glad you're with me today because today it's time for another wrap-up video where I talk about all the books that I've been reading lately. We're going to be talking about all the books that I read in the first half of February. I read 6, and I'm counting the first half of February until about February 13th, 14th. It's a little bit harder for me to decide since we do have a shorter month for February, but I'm counting 6 of the books. I'm going to talk about those. But before we get into all of those books, please make sure if you're enjoying my content, if you like this video, you're hitting that thumbs up button. If you want to keep watching me, make sure you're hitting that subscribe button as well. Hit that notification bell so you know when I post new videos. I post videos every Thursday and Sunday, and I'm really trying hard, if I can, to make it to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year, but I can only do that with the help of you all. So thank you very much. I appreciate you being here. Let's get into these books because I read some really great ones. I've been having a great reading month. January is a great reading month, so we're just continuing on that trend. So first book that I picked up in February is going to be Untethering Dark by Desiree M. Nicolai. This is a dark fantasy romance. This was an arc that I got from the author, which I was so happy to get this arc. So we have our female main character, Astrid. She is a witch. She is a hag in training. All she wants to do is just live her best witchy hag life out in the forest. It is winter. This is where she thrives. She is a winter forest hag in training. And in this forest, there's also this forest god that he eats people and kills people every night. Mostly people that are desecrating the forest and not doing like good things to the forest. But she always makes an offering to this forest god just to make sure that he doesn't end up killing her. She makes an offering to him every night. Well, then some pesky humans come around, traipsing through her forest, and they mess up her offering. So she ends up coming face to face with this forest god, and she is like, all right, this is it. I'm going to either have to fight my way out of this, or I'm just going to have to face him, offer myself to him, whatever I have to do. But he is very intrigued by her, thinks that she's super sexy, and doesn't actually want to kill her. And then there's some mysterious things going on. Astrid's also friends with a forest ranger, and there have been some mutilations and mysterious animal deaths going on in the forest. And so the forest god and her, along with the forest ranger, are all trying to get together to figure out what is going on in their forest and how they can stop it from happening. So I gave this one 5 stars. I honestly really love this one, and I was surprised by how much I love this one. It is so different from what I normally read. I love that Astrid was just unapologetically herself and what she wants, and she's not going to let anybody stop her from getting what she wants, which I love that. There's also a lot of darker elements to this. It borderlines a little bit at times into more of like the horror romance. And I say borderline because I'm not the biggest horror romance person, but this one was fine for me. There is a lot of death and murder and gore happening in here. Both of our characters, I would say, are more borderline that like morally gray kind of category. But it's also like juxtaposed, like the darkness of the setting also has these very sweet and tender moments between her and the male main character of the story. There's like a moment where they are like gardening together, and it's so sweet. And then just them falling in love with each other. Their love was just so caring and pure, and I loved it. Steam on this was very high. I adored this, and I really need to read more from this author because it was fantastic, and I definitely recommend reading this one. Then I read Trick Play by Eden Finley. This is the second book of the Fake Boyfriend series. This one we have Matt. He has been outed as a gay man in the media. He was previously like closeted because he is a football player, but he gets outed, and his football team kicks him off for indecency, like some sort of clause in his contract, because he was out like making out with some guy in a bar. So his agent is like, we need to repair your reputation so that you can get signed on with the team again. And he thinks the best way to do this is to show that Matt is in a like committed relationship. So they get Noah, who is like a friend of theirs, to fake date Matt. Noah is the son of a politician. He's a notorious playboy, but they are going to go on this trip together and be seen together and just pretend to be dating. They, though, of course, have the hots for one another, and they decide to give in to their desires, and things ensue from there. I gave it 4 stars. I thought this was enjoyable. It's kind of a quintessential like fake dating trope. Like, they're going to fall in love with each other. I like this one slightly more than the first book of the series, but this one, it was cute. The characters were really cute together. I really liked the character development that both of them go through in this story, and it was an enjoyable read. Then I read Too Safe by Abby Millsaps. This is the first book of the Boys of Lake Chapel series, which another one of these books is going to come up in this wrap up. And then the third one will come up in my next wrap up because I'm currently reading the third one. This one is about our female main character, Joey. She is wanting to start her life over. She has had some things happen in her past, which we don't really find out a ton about in this first book, but she has just started at college. She's turning over a new leaf. She gets a job. She makes out and has kind of like a one-night stand with a popular football player at a party. She's living her best life. However, then she sees said football player that she hooked up with at the place of her work, and she kind of gets in trouble with them. They think that she sees something that she's not supposed to. So the group of football players, they're living together on this like remote island. They decide that the best way to make sure that she doesn't blab her mouth about something that she has no idea what they're talking about is to kind of keep her captive in their house. They take her and make her live with them. And they say that one of them has to go with her wherever she goes because they don't want her telling secrets that they don't want told. So I gave this one 4 stars. Not honestly the greatest plot to this, not very plausible, I feel like, but the way the author wrote this, I couldn't put it down. I had to keep reading. And obviously, since I'm now reading book 3, like, I don't know why, but it's pulling me in. The sexual scenes in this series are top notch. This is a wide shoes romance. She does end up getting with all of the people in this house. And it's just, like I said, it's just very entertaining. There's a lot of different like representation in this book too. We have a character that is on the spectrum, like autism spectrum. We have characters with chronic illness. The female main character has mental health representation in here. It's just, there's a lot of stuff going on in this book. And it ends on a cliffhanger. And I wanted to know what happens next. So I enjoyed myself with reading this one. Then I read Intercepted by Alexa Martin. This is the first book in the Playbook series by Alexa Martin. I have been meaning to read this for a while. I was planning on reading this in January, and I started it, but I didn't get to finish it. But I did finish in February, so go me. This one is about our female main character. She breaks up with her cheating boyfriend. He's a football player, and then because of what he did to her, she decides that she's done with dating athletes. But then a prior fling comes into town. He is the new quarterback for the team, and he doesn't like that she doesn't want to date him. So he like pursues her until she finally gives in and they date each other. I give this one 3.5 stars. There were moments of this that I did like. So like the female main character overall, I did enjoy her as a character. I thought she was pretty strong. I like that she stood up for herself and stuck with her boundaries. I did also like her friendship with another character in this book. It was quite funny. It provided a lot of like comedic relief to this story. However, there was a lot of women drama in this one, but especially between her and the other football wives, and then also her and the male main character's publicist, I think, or she's a manager, something along those lines. And then with his sister as well. It's just a lot of drama in this one, like a lot of drama. There's also some stuff that happens, even like conflict between her and the male main character of this story, which I didn't really like all that much. I also felt like the resolution to this story happened very quickly. Like there's this random like extra conflict that happens near the end, and it's resolved so quickly. It just felt like it wasn't really necessary and wasn't needed. So overall, not terrible, but not my favorite. I would consider reading Alexa Martin again. Then I read Too Fast by Abby Millsap. So this is the second book of the Boys of Lake Chapel series. So this one, I'm just going to say I gave it 4 stars. I don't want to say too much about this one because this one picks up right at the end of where book 1 leaves off. Book 1 leaves off on a cliffhanger. So it just kind of builds off of that book. But we get more information about Joey's backstory, and her and the guys start to get closer. So like the first book, she only really gets close to 2 of the 4 guys. This one, she starts forming more relationships with the other 2 as well. So we're really starting to build more of that poly romance in this one. So 4 stars. I enjoyed it. And then the last book that I have for this list of the books that I read in the first half of February is going to be Passenger Princess by Morgan Elizabeth. This is the first book of the Evergreen Park series. I actually had arc read the second book of this series, so I decided to come back to read the first one because the third book of this series comes out next month. So I wanted to just make sure that I had all the context for reading the third one when it comes out. So this one is our female main character. Quite hilarious. She ends up winning the Miss Americana pageant, which is basically the Miss America beauty pageant. Basically on a whim. She wasn't in the pageant circles. And she decides to enter into this contest because she wants to help promote 2 of her best friends' small businesses. And she decides that could be like her campaign that she does. If she won, she ends up winning. And now she gets to tour across America and visit all these different women and see their small businesses. So the Miss Americana company hires a bodyguard for her to come with her. And she's one of those like quirky kind of characters. She likes to poke his buttons. She wants him to be her best friend. And he just wants to do his job and doesn't want to mess with her. But they're also insanely attracted to one another. So, of course, they have a romance together. I give this one 5 stars. I feel like I'm just pretty much going to give 5 stars to every Morgan Elizabeth book that I read now because all of her books are just so enjoyable, and she writes the kind of stories and the kind of characters that just resonate with me and that I want to read. All of her male main characters that I've read so far have been complete book boyfriend material. The male main character of this one is no exception. He is so caring towards our female main character. He makes sure that not only does he just make sure that she's okay, consent is so big in her stories, and I absolutely love that. And there's a point that they are teaching like self-defense classes to all these women, and I just love the sisterhood that she has in her books and her female friendships and women empowerment that she features in her books. And it's just so wonderful. This definitely has forced proximity to it because they're stuck in a car together and in hotels together. And I love me some forced proximity. It also features grumpy sunshine trope. He is the grump, she is the sunshine. And I feel like that dynamic just works so well together. It makes it for some fantastic banter. This one had the greatest banter. And I really loved it. It was so good. I cannot wait to read book 3 when it comes out and any other subsequent Morgan Elizabeth books. I need to pick up her backlist. I have all of these books from her right here because I love her so much. So I could wax poetic about her for so long, but that would make this video even longer. So we are wrapping it up. That is going to be it for this wrap up of the books that I read in the first half of February. If you enjoyed this video, again, make sure you are hitting that thumbs up button, subscribe if you haven't already. Also comment down below with some of the books that you have been reading so far in February. What have you been enjoying? I love hearing from you all. Otherwise, that is going to be it. And if you have gotten to the end of this video, you should see some things pop up here for subscribing. Go and check out my channel, or to also check out another video of mine. So you should click those. But that's going to be it. I'll see you later, guys. Bye.